juggling yarns. I am doing a very quick forage of a Sunday afternoon with the baby on my back. I just I saw UK Wildcrafts was out gathering hazelnuts, and we have a couple of hazelnut trees on our property, so I have gathered all the ones on the inside line of our property, and I just went into the field to gather the other side of the bush, the other side of the tree. Farmer's very nice, but I don't think he has any use for the hazelnuts on the trees. But I just found some mushrooms as well. Before anyone says it, we're not going to eat them, obviously, but I just want to identify them. That's the next step of my foraging that I would love to get a bit more kind of better with. Mushrooms scare the crap out of me, so I don't want to obviously go for it. But if they are edible and they're literally in the field next door, they are pricey, because we eat a lot of them, because we don't really eat too much meat. So it'd be amazing if we were able to eat, to identify and eat some mushrooms. And it is coming into prime mushroom season. So yeah, also this litter picker, best thing ever for going on a walk while you're baby wearing, because anything drops, you're scuppered. You have to leave it behind you. So I love this litter picker. Anyway, I'm going in now to food prep for the rest of the week, and if I get a chance, I will film a little update of my creative projects, and yeah, we'll see how we go. Fingers crossed. So it's a couple of days after the last videos that I took of collecting the hazelnuts, and it is the first evening that I've managed to get to myself. So I have 4 projects I want to talk to you about. The dishwasher's on, the window's open because it's so hot, so there's probably going to be maybe some country traffic noises. Hopefully the baby's not going to cry. And I've got my tea brewing, so we'll see how we go. I've had far too much coffee all day in work, so I'm on the tea. And I'm trying some herbal tea, some herbs that I dried from my garden and from my walks for this year. So I think I've got some yarrow in there, some purple dead nettle, some linden flowers or lime flowers, normal nettles, and pineapple weed. So I don't know, we'll see what that tastes like. But yeah, so I have not finished any projects. I have started 3 more since the last time I spoke to you, because I just keep getting these inspirations at around this time of night, which is 8 p.m. 8 p.m. in the evening. And yeah, so this is the time when I get most creative, which is my evenings, which is nice. So I'm going to start off with showing you a big project which is coming to a close. We're on the 2nd sleeve, so that's very exciting. So this is in my little sushi, my huge sushi bag that I got from a friend in Sydney. Oh, it's so fabulous. It's so huge. I love it. It's fabulous. So I am knitting this using a massive ball of like DK weight yarn. I feel like this is probably Aldi yarn or one of those, and then a lace weight, just to kind of give a really lovely little marl. So I'm holding those 2 together. This is the 2nd ball of those massive balls. I I think they're 300 grams. So this hasn't been taken out fully in a while. So this is the kind of mustard jumper. I've been making up the pattern. I used the starting numbers of the flax, the free flax pattern, and then I just decided to do like, I really wanted to do like an oversized jumpy jumper with big sleeves. So I just did I just did yarn over increases along the edge, and I think they look beautiful. It looks so nice. And I've knit all the way down and started the ribbing on this side, and then I stopped. I didn't want to cast off until I had checked both of them. So I'm knitting down this side, and I'm gonna try it on and see. I feel like these sleeves are too long, almost. So this is why I love top down, because you can literally try it on as you go. So this is the sleeves. They're definitely too long. I think I'm not gonna knit any more of this and start reducing down. I'm going to decrease rapidly, maybe 2 rows of rapid decreases, and then start a rib, maybe of a couple of inches, a nice big rib, just because when you push it up, it'll actually stay up as opposed to like flopping around. So that's the plan. That was the plan here, but I think I'm gonna have to rip back a couple of inches because it's just too long, really. I was just having too much fun. So this is like, that's my fingertips there. So I think that's just a bit too long. So, and the body is actually quite short, not short, but it comes down to, if it's on me, it's not like a really long one. It just hits across the hip. It's actually called the ASIs if anyone is a radiographer. But it's just the hip joints. If you feel down to your hips there, the hips that are kind of the bones that like stick out in front, that's exactly where this hits. So it's a nice length, but I think the sleeves are too long. Yeah. So I'm really happy with this, nearly done. I'll be delighted when it's done because it's coming into autumn now, and this is going to be either a gift, or if I like it, it's going to be mine. So that's the idea. The original idea was I was going to make it for my mother-in-law, and we'll see, but it might be way too big for her, but that's the kind of size that I wanted. I wanted it to kind of be oversized, so I think it's going to be fine. So since I last spoke to you, I have gone back to work. I have been on maternity leave for the since July 2022, and then I went back to work July 2023. So in all, it was a whole year off, 12 months. In Ireland, we get 6 months paid maternity leave, and then you have the option to take 3 months unpaid. Then you can also take 7 weeks parental leave, which can be taken up until the child is 2. So I took 4 weeks of that, and then I also got paid my 2 months of holidays from last year, and I think I took one week of holidays from this year. So yeah, it all added up to about 1 year. Sorry, kicked you there, bit of an earthquake. And yeah, so I've been back 2 months, and the work is actually the easiest part. It's all the logistics around it. And at the minute we are a 1-car household living in the countryside in Ireland, which is a little bit of a challenge. So what was happening was James was driving me and our little girl to creche. We'd drop her off at creche, and then he would drop me off at work, and then he would collect me and our little girl in the evenings. But he started a new job, which means that he's working 9 to 5, which means that it's not really possible. So he's working from home most of the time. So now I'm driving myself into work. All that to say, I started knitting on the way to work because James was driving me, so I was just knitting. So I was like, oh, this is lovely. But now that I've started driving myself, I can't knit and drive, unfortunately. It's very unsafe. But I'll show you what the project that I was knitting as a thank you. So I started knitting a pair of socks for James. It has been possibly 3 years since I've knit him a pair of socks. He's got really big feet. These are socks. Do you know what? I don't even have the band, the ball band, but they are really pretty. They remind me, I honestly don't know what they are, but they are lovely. I think they were given, a bunch of sock yarn was given to me by my friend Fiona. Oh, she bought them in ginger twists, so they might be West Yorkshire spinners. Oh, I must have a look and see actually, because they're really, really nice. And they might just be Regia as well, but they're big solid balls of wool. That means they're going to make big solid socks. So I started for the first time in a long time. To be honest, it's been a long time since I've knit socks anyway, but I started to toe up. And don't ask me why I decided to do that, because I've never really done it before. I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna chance it and see. So that's what I cast on. I went to see Barbie as well, and I knit during the film too, which was very exciting. We left our little girl with my parents and we went to see Barbie, so that was really fun. I was just dying to see it, absolutely dying to see it. And then I got stuck, and I got stuck at the heel flap and gusset because James has a really high arch, and afterthought heels, fish, short row heels, things like that just don't really fit him. There's a really, really tight stretch across the top of his foot. So I always do a heel flap and gusset, but sure, like I had never done a toe up heel flap and gusset, and I was there in the car. The car journey is 20 minutes, so I was knitting these in 20-minute kind of spurts. Well, 20 and a half an hour depending on traffic. And like, I was like, I don't think this works. This can't work. It's not working. I pulled out this heel, like no joke, 5 times. Like, this was about 2 weeks worth of knitting in the car, like crazy. Anyway, I managed to figure it out, and once I did, it was fine. By managed to figure it out, I realized that I put on Instagram, I was like, I don't think this is possible. And everyone's like, girl, it is. Like, did you Google or did you just ask Instagram? I was like, I just asked Instagram. I'm too lazy. So yeah, I went on Ravelry and I looked up toe up socks and I found the first one. Now there actually were a lot of comments of specific patterns, but I just went for a pretty pattern because I'm currently broke from a baby. So yes, so I would love to have these done by Christmas. Realistically, perhaps not, but I haven't even tried these on, so these might be too big. I feel like they might be too big, but I always think that about James's socks. So he's like a 14, I think, size UK 14 or 13. Oh, I don't know. I make him buy his own socks because he's a human adult, so or his own shoes because he's, you know, a grown man. Yeah, so and that is being kept in this bag. I don't even know where I got this. This Karen Gorn bags. This might have been gifted to me. It's amazing. It's like a big bucket bag and it has like pockets in here for wool and everything. I love this bag. I used it as a handbag in Australia for a while, I think. Honestly, I can't even remember sometimes. What is down here? It's a bit of rice cake. Great. So yeah, so I was originally, that sock project was going to be what I called my pumping project inside and work, because I've gone back to work and I want to keep breastfeeding for I want to aim for 2 years. That's the recommended that's recommended by the WHO, but also I just don't feel like stopping. So there is a breastfeeding breaks in brought into Irish law, basically. So it is part of the legislation now that we get an hour a day, and it's split up however suits the person pumping or the department. So I'm taking 3 breaks a day, 20 minutes each. I'm kind of taking 2.5 hours because that suits me a little bit better. But anyway, so I'm just sitting there pumping, and instead of just scrolling on my phone while I'm pumping or answer emails, I'm like trying to like not be doing the work because I'm constantly like, I have a new project. So I had this idea that I would make hats for everyone for Christmas, and then of course I pick a really difficult pattern to figure out. So that's probably not going to happen. I was going to make something simple. Why am I like this? But anyway, so I bought this yarn when I was in Australia. Oh, my badge. I need that. So I bought this when I was in Tasmania, actually. This is Lace Merino Chunky, ER. I don't know what that means. It's code color SOS or 505. So yeah, it's classed as it's kind of like a big DK. Or it's kind of like a chunky, a bulky, but it's a little bit bigger than Aran weight, but it kind of knits up to an Aran weight. So it is a high twist. The light isn't great now because the light is going, but it doesn't. It's a really lovely warm color. I originally was going to knit this in a hat for my Australian Cal, or I think it was like the around the world Cal that we did back in 2016, the Christmas of, or maybe 2017, the start of 2017, and myself and a few other creators around the world, we kind of developed like a couple of patterns, and I did Australia because that's where I was at the time, and there was this amazing kind of double knitting world hat. It was incredible, but I started using this and it was just too big, so it was coming out like a big tea cozy, and I really didn't like it. So I pulled it out and I had 2 colors. I had this incredible fiery orange, and I had this beautiful brown, which is really washing out now. And I saw these beautiful hats that were made of like the bulky Malabrigo Rios, the singles, and they look so amazing. And they are this type of pattern. Can I remember the pattern? No. I did buy it. It's on my phone currently. But I couldn't figure out this stitch for love nor money, and I had to look it up. I think it's called the Lotus Stitch, and it is super pretty. The only problem is this hat is quite small. So none of my family have small heads. So quite a small hat. But you know what? I'm just going to knit it. I'm just going to finish it out. And because this is the second time that this yarn has been knit into a hat. And I just don't want to rip it out again because it's beautiful yarn. I just want to finish a project. I'll keep it as a present for somebody, maybe a child or something like that. And yeah, I'm going to put a pom-pom on the top with the brown yarn because I have an extra skein of that, and it'll be a lovely little gift for somebody. I might get one of those really fluffy pom-poms. They're really cute. And next time, so I think this is actually an Aran. I was assuming it was a bulky, so I think I cast on for a bulky, and then it shrunk down the size of the hat. So that's something to be aware of. And yes, no, I did not do a gauge swatch. Then I would have remembered that stranded colorwork pulls in the design, so you need to either have bigger needles or try and loosen things out, or just go up a size than you think you need. So, but it is really pretty. Such a pretty pattern. I do love it. I really do love it. So that is my hat Christmas project for somebody. I don't know. Here's hoping I get someone with a really small head for Secret Santa, because that'd be a great present for that. So I want to kind of start making really nice projects, just like small, quick projects that are satisfying to me, but also could be like stashed up for presents, because I have so much yarn, and honestly, I just need to do something with it. So I might as well. I've kind of, do you know what I've reached? I've reached the stage of gift giving. I never thought I'd reach it, ever. Because there was so many things that I wanted to make for myself. But now I have so many jumpers and so many cardigans that I want to give them to people. Have I finally become a nice person? I'm not sure. Not sure about that. Don't know if I agree with that. See, I'm just selfless. Motherhood has made me selfless. Ooh, that's nice. That is nice. I'll just pop that there. This is my mug from Remembrances pottery from a million years ago. Oh, Babbles Yarns, Global Inspirations. Is that what it says? Yes, it is. This is the last one that I have, and it's precious. It is precious. So this project was, this is actually in a very precious bag. I bought this at Doolin in 2017. 2017? No, I think it was 2019. Anyway, I can't remember. I bought this at Doolin one of the years, and it's a lady who no longer makes these bags, actually. She's a lady called Emerald Fibers, and they're just beautiful. The embroidery is stunning. So I pulled it out because I had this, I have a child and I have no money, which has led me down the path of fast fashion for children, which I know is terrible. And most of the clothes that we have for her is borrowed, not borrowed, but given to us, hand-me-down, donated. I would say 85% of all of her clothes are from other people that have been given to us. And then the rest are from gifts, from gift vouchers, from family members, and money sent over for different holidays and things like that. My mother-in-law loves M&S, so she sends us vouchers for M&S for their baby clothes, and I love their baby clothes. They're just beautiful. But again, it is all fast fashion, and she grows out of it so fast. So the idea of like making things that will only last for 10 seconds on them is just, I don't know. It's just hard for me to, it's really hard for me to kind of combine the two. I would absolutely love to spend all the money on the most sustainable, beautiful things, but like, it's just not possible for me. And to be honest, she doesn't, I mean, kids actually don't need as much clothes as you think, but I just want to, you know, like she actually has so many clothes. She doesn't need any more. But there's things about like Halloween coming up, and I'm like, I know I don't need to buy a little Halloween costume, but like maybe. And so I was there looking on Temu of all places, and God only knows where it's made. And I was looking at all these things, and I was like, so cute. Then I got it into my head, I was like, hang on now, Grace, come on. You've bought like leggings and tops and things like that, but like Halloween costumes, like really, you do not need to be doing that. And I was like, okay, fine. So then I had it in my head, I've always wanted to knit her a little yoked sweater. And then I was like, wait, have I seen this in my brain? A jumper with a spider web as a yoke. And I have. It is by Andy Satterland, and it's called Arachne, but it's discontinued. She doesn't sell it anymore. So I had to make it up. So, excuse me. But I couldn't completely make it up because, you know, numbers and everything. So I went and I bought the Tin Can Knits sweater kind of recipe called Strange Brew, which I think is a fabulous name for a Halloweeny type jumper. And I have started to create my own little colorwork pattern. And this is where it is. This yarn is, I bought this when, I'll just show you the pattern anyway. So it's good. It's starting out as, now this is, I'm just playing here to be honest. Like so I'm thinking it's like kind of a low risk, you know, it's only a Halloween jumper. I can figure out, I can use it to figure out the pattern. So there are some which are dodgy, like this one here, I made a mistake. So I've just made up the numbers here on the increase round. Where else? Like there's, what is that? Like this is the starting join, terrible. This one here, I picked up the wrong stitch, so it's brown instead of white. There's mistakes, it's fine. So, but the yarn, I have to talk to you about the yarn. I don't even know if it's even still a thing, but this is Briar Patch Yarns, New Zealand. So there was a stage back in the beyond, before the pandemic, BP, where there was this mill that was closing down, or I think it was the farm that was closing down, and they needed to sell this yarn off, and it's just the most beautiful thing I've ever felt in my life. So I bought probably like 50, 100 skeins of this stuff. So I had DK in this lovely, beautiful, squishy brown and this lovely cream. Now I've knit a couple of bonnets, baby bonnets, beloved bonnets out of this, and it is gorgeous. So you can actually find out more by going to www.briarpatch.co.nz. It's from New Zealand. Or 100% organic, super soft merino wool, grown by Lammermoor Station for Briar Patch Yarns, New Zealand. It's a DK, and it's so good. Oh man. Anyway, so middle of the night, 10 p.m. I think, close to 10 p.m. And I decided, yeah, I definitely need to cast this on. So I was like hunting through my yarn, being like, what can I use? And then this fell into my hands. So the idea is I've got a couple of patterns of this, and I'm just going to reuse this center, this motif again and again. And I'm going to increase, I think it says like to increase every 2 stitches up here, every 5 stitches here, every, you know. So I'm going to try and finagle the increasing in the middle so that it increases out. I don't know if it's going to work. We'll figure it out as we go. So yeah, this is my experiment project. I tend to do a lot of experimenting. I kind of come up with this idea in my head and I'm like, surely someone has designed this. And then in my head, I always say, I should release that pattern. And then I realize that I've said that 1,000 times for the last 5 years and I've never released a pattern because I'm terrified of like the follow-up. That's actually what I'm terrified about. I'm terrified of the follow-up because what if I don't know how to fix it? I'm not very good and I'm very busy and I don't know, and I'm just gonna not release anything. How terrible is that? Anyway. So that is where I am with my making currently. So my plan now is for the foreseeable, the plan with the podcast is so every Saturday morning, James takes our baby to swimming and he's gone in the morning. So my plan would be to film a podcast every Saturday morning. It didn't happen last Saturday because I went and got my hair did, because I felt like I needed a little bit of self-care because I was feeling very messy. I got my nails done, which is basically I just got them like filed down and got the cuticles done. I got just nail polish that I took off before work because I don't really like wearing nail polish in the hospital. And it was just gorgeous. She probably looked at me like, what a waste, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, listen, last time I got shellac or gel, I got gel nails actually, and I got them put on for my wedding and it took a solid 9 months for my nails to recover. So I just don't like having, and like it's the same reason why I don't dye my hair. It's like an expense that you have to like keep doing it and keep planning it. And I'm like, my baby hairs are coming back grey. So maybe I might think about doing it, but also, yeah. So I got the hair cut because I was feeling a bit like, it was tangling down the bottom here because it was split ends. So I feel like it's quite a mom chop. I got a lot cut off. I was like, just let's do a start afresh. And I thought I'd never get a mom chop, and I'm not sure I like it, to be honest. I do love longer hair. Oh, see, I'm still tangling. She said it was also build up in my hair. And then of course I bought one of their products and I was like, oh, damn you. So yeah. So I have a couple of other projects in my brain, but not so many knitting projects because they come on me all of a sudden and I have to cast them on immediately. I don't know what that's about, castanitis. But when it comes to foraging, so I'm really missing my morning walks. I used to walk every morning. I used to do six miles around the loop, and I got to know every single bush and, you know, tree on the way. And I was learning so much about foraging from this this YouTube channel called UK Wildcrafts, who is just so lovely. If you want to watch him, he's just got such a lovely voice, and he has this whole seasonal year that he did last year. I think it was 2022. Yeah, I think it was 2022. He did like foraging by the season in the UK, and we have the same kind of environment as the UK, so I was able to use it. Oh, that's the dishwasher finished, if anyone's concerned. Does anyone want to come over and empty it? I really don't mind. So yeah, so I have a couple of projects. So the hazelnuts that you saw at the start of the video, I really want to try making Nutella or hazelnut butter, but I don't know if my blender is strong enough for those, but we'll give it a go. And also UK Wildcrafts. I really want to call him Reese because he reminds me of my Welsh friend Reese, but I know his name isn't Reese and I cannot remember it for the life of me. Anyway, I'm letting in all the bugs. I really should close the doors, but the breeze is so nice and it's so close and sticky. I think there's a daddy long legs there. Anyway, but yeah, so I really wanted to make, he's got this recipe for hawthorn berry ketchup. I really want to try it. So haw berries are amazing for your heart, for any sort of heart disease that you have. They are really good for that, but I just don't know how I would eat that or, you know, use it. I suppose in a tea maybe, but anyway, so the hawthorn berries, but if you can make them into like a barbecue sauce, they're very similar to ketchup, I think. And I also really want to use rose hips in the similar sort of fashion. Apparently you can make rose hips which are very like sun-dried tomatoes. So the weather's supposed to be very nice for the next couple of days. So I was half thinking about going out, but see, that's the thing, I just don't have time during the day, and I don't have time in the evening either because I'm wrecked. So the weekends are really the only time that we have to do these sorts of things, but there's always something on. Like I've got a birthday party this weekend, and yeah, I'm really missing my slow maternity life, you know. These working women. So that is currently my projects that I have. My mum's cucumbers are absolutely overproducing, and I've already made a huge batch of gherkins and pickles, which I've already given out as gifts because crazy amount. But they keep producing. So the courgettes less so. That she only got 2 courgette plants. She actually only kept 2 courgette plants, and I think that was the smartest decision ever because they're just everywhere right now, so there's no need for more than 2 courgette plants if there's 2 of you in the house. And even then, it's pushing it. So she has 1 yellow courgette plant and 1 green courgette plant. Zucchini for those in the States. And she has the most amazing tomatoes at the minute. They're like these just gorgeous little sweets. They're almost like sweets. They're so nice. So we're just eating those with salads, and I had them chopped with basil. She's loads of basil as well, so I'm like obsessed with pesto, so big fan. So we had I made a lasagna, and I just made a salad, like a Genovese salad, with just the tomatoes and basil, and it was just, it didn't even need balsamic vinegar. It was just so delicious. Yeah, so my weeks are getting a little bit more organized, a bit more into a routine, and I'm kind of allergic to routines. That's been my life up until now, but you just have to get into a routine when you've got lots of people in a house that need to go places and do things. So yeah, I'm developing a little bit of routine, which I'd love to stick to. So I'm hoping that the podcast situation will actually happen and happen correctly. It's my next challenge is actually editing and uploading this. So fingers crossed that happens. But I've really wanted to podcast for a long time, and the old muscles aren't great now. I'm a bit slow and a bit clunky. I'm a bit fast, actually. I feel like I'm too fast talking to you, getting through all the stuff. I feel like this is the job now. I have to get this done, get this done, get this done. So I hope over time it'll become more natural. It'll become more like a chilled out chat. I was thinking, I'm very excited about the seasons coming up. I feel like maternity really helped me kind of tune in with the seasons a lot more than I was before. I was kind of a bit numb to the world moving around me. Before, I was just going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home, doing my thing, flying around. It would only be occasionally I'd be like, oh, it's very dark outside, or oh, the long evenings are lovely. But now I'm really feeling like I'm noticing so much more. My life has slowed down. My life had slowed down so much that I was able to notice like the leaves changing, or the days getting longer, but day by day, like noticing the way the different plants were kind of coming up and going down and up and down in waves in the garden that we inherited. And the garden's a state, by the way. It's terrible. We'll figure that out over time, over the next 60 years. I'm sure it'll be fine sometime. So I'm really missing that slowness, because we're up in the morning, we have to get everybody out of the house, by 7:30. I need to be on the road, I'm in, I'm out, and I'm just I keep on noticing like there's so many this is crazy, there's so many hazelnuts and Japanese rose hips on the motorway, and I'm like, they are full. Like, those Japanese rose hips have so much vitamin C, and you can turn them into like so much. They're like, oh, they're amazing. And all the hazelnuts are absolutely wild this year because of all the rain and all the berries out there. And I saw on the road, I was just driving out this morning, and I saw the blackthorn bushes were absolutely heavy with sloes, little, the berries that they put in for sloe gin. And I'm just there going, oh, I wish I had the time to go out on walks every day and pick and forage. And like, the earth is so bountiful when you look, when you learn about it, and when you can see what you actually eat. And I'm like, this is crazy. I was coming off the slip road to come onto the road to take me up to the hospital, and the entire bank of the road was heavy with hazelnuts, like heavy. And I was just like, why do people buy hazelnuts in the shop? Like, they're everywhere right now. But we just don't have time, so we buy them instead if we want them. Hazelnuts isn't even a thing that people really want to buy. Like, I don't think I've ever bought a pack of hazelnuts. There's always something, and I think it's bought once for like muesli or something, and I never use them. But so I just feel like I I think we have like 4 or 5 hazelnut trees on the property, just on the outskirts. And I just went, every time I go out, I find more and I just pick them. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like in our own home, we have got this food, you know, and they're so full of protein and fats, like good fats and vitamins, and just amazing. And anyway, I'll stop banging on about hazelnuts. But yeah, I would love to somehow look for little moments of silence and peace. And I think these evenings are what are really going to be good going forward if she stays asleep. That's the key. So she falls asleep at about 7, and then she kind of wakes at about 10. So those 3 hours are very important, I think, for me and my mental health. But at the same time, I'm also very tired. So I should maybe be using them to sleep. I don't know. This is a season of very busy, and I don't know if I can find balance daily in my life at the minute. But nature's only ever in balance. I think it's 2 times a year when the days and nights are the same, which is summer solstice, or which is spring equinox and autumn equinox. That's it. The rest of the time, it's either the sleeping winter is taken over, or the abundant summer. And right now it's just chaos. And now we're moving into the kind of dying off autumn. And we've got a couple of storms coming in, which is going to just rip all the leaves off the trees. We don't really get a nice long autumn. We just get wind and rain. So it's not a season I really look forward to. I do love a September start. I do love stationery. I love the whole going back to school vibe. But the whole pumpkin patch, leaves turning sweater vibe, it's raincoats, wellies, and dark days here. So it's now, like last year, I was kind of in a fog of newbornness in autumn. So we'll see now what, being in the forest actually does for my opinion of autumn. We'll see. And we also have the festival coming up, which I hope the weather will be okay for, because we are on the west coast of Ireland for that. Yes, so if you are interested in the festival, I'm hosting a festival on the 29th of August with Sophie from Shonnock Yarns, and it is taking place in Doolin, in the community centre in Doolin, from 10 to 5. It's open ticketing, anyone can come. There's no pre-sale or anything like that, you just show up. And we've got a bunch of beautiful Irish hand dyers, or people on the island of Ireland who are dyeing yarn, some bag makers, some really interesting workshops which we're working on, and there's going to be some lovely food and drinks on the day. So please do think about coming along. Love to have you. Details are in the comments down below on our website. And so that's Let's Knit Festival in Doolin. So that's my little plug. I had to get that in there. Oh, and I just wanted to show one more thing. The current absolute obsession of mine, of the knitted projects that my baby has received as gifts, you know who you are, is this. This is actually my own hand spun. I think it's my own dyed fibre, which has been hand spun. And it is, it's got like peachy pink and green up here, and then there's lovely, it's just beautiful. And yeah, so I'm delighted about this situation. So she's currently fitting into this, which is outrageous. She'll fit into it for another while, I think. Bernadine, was this you? Was it Bernadine or Lisa? I don't know, I can't remember. It all arrived in one big package on the same day from 2 different people, and the house is a mess. So I'm completely obsessed. I dyed the fibre, someone else spun it and knitted, and now it's on my baby, and I love it. This pattern is the flax, and it is one of the best patterns that I have ever knit. It was the first pattern I ever knit for myself, And look at this baby. Look at this baby one. It's actually for like a 1 to 2 year old. It's fab. It's going to last her forever. So that's great. That's the kind of size that I'm knitting at the minute for the spiderweb yoke pattern that I think I'm going to sit down and knit now. I really want to watch, I've not watched a lot of podcasts recently. I've been really into budgeting videos. I've been really into Caleb Hammer and his financial score. He goes over people's budgets and debt, and it is interesting for a nosy Nelly like me. And also, of course, his name is not Reese. Oh my god, what is his name? Chris? No. Ellis? No. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. Some Welsh name. UK Wildcrafts, and also yeah, my kind of homesteady people who always end up being very pregnant all the time. Like all the time. All the time. So methinks that is a religious reason, possibly. But anyway, the homesteading, I just love watching people like make tons of food. I love it. Anyway, I hope you've had a beautiful couple of months since I've seen you last, and I hope to see you sooner than the last time. I make that time shorter in the future. I really do hope that I can get into a bit of a routine, but if I don't, I'll see you when I see you, won't I? Love you lots. Subscribe if you don't mind. I'd love to have you around again, and you can see how I managed to try, balance and fail repeatedly at being a creator, mum, worker, working mum, event organizer, and whatever else I choose to do in the meantime, because I cannot stop gathering skills. I think it's a problem. Bye.